Close to 91,600 children under the age of 5 and 9,500 expectant mothers are likely to suffer from malnutrition this year as food security situation worsens in Karamoja sub-region. This follows an earlier forecast by European Commission Directorate Civil Protection and Humanitarian Aid report released December 2022 after a careful assessment of the situation. Effects of climate change are the main reason for imminent food insecurity brought about by harsh weather conditions attributed to deforestation and poor land management.
You can see that there is a few vegetation which is influencing rainfall, and most of the place is becoming bare. So it is also affecting the rain patterns of the area, such that when the rains come, it goes around, it follows the belts where there are a lot of trees. And where there are no trees, you find that it just blows and it moves like that. So this is also an impact to the community where we have unreliable rainfalls, and that also affects the cultivation period of the area.
The region, with a total flora cover of 367, 450 hectares, lost half of the forests due to massive tree cutting, bushfires, unplanned settlements and animal grazing.
There are actually unreliable rains in this area, and at times they are not there. You always experience drought.
You find that the community relies on charcoal and sale of firewood. And also, as you look around, they use trees for building, and also they use trees for fencing of the manyatas around this area. So such that most of the trees are being cut and being destroyed.
In the recent months, a long dry spell equally linked to food scarcity hit Karamoja region, weakening the workforce, causing misery to the population.
The workforce is a very weak workforce because they are underfed.
All people are what? Vulnerable. Even here in town, there are people who are vulnerable. They are dying. They are dying silently.
Apart from the climate shocks, localized conflict and castle rustling are among other factors that are responsible for the hazardous famine and drought.
We had 34 kraals in Kabong as a whole. But now, as you see, Kabong is only left with 2.5 kraals. So meaning that Kabong projected loss of 50,000 heads of cattle to the raids. That's now what's bringing this.
The situation is an indicator for looming acute food insecurity and malnutrition, which requires immediate possible interventions from all concerned.
The emergency calls upon emergency steps. This is not the lasting solution for Karamoja. We have to sit down and draw a plan. Stakeholders, government, civil society, religious leaders, everybody who loves life, everybody who knows that Karamoja is part of us, all Alua is part of us, there has to be lasting solutions. And this can only be developed, strategically. Food is security. Food is security. If you don't have food, forget about everything else.
To avert the situation, local leaders are seeking long-lasting solutions to end food shortage and depending on handouts. Putting up modern place, mechanized agriculture practice to ease farming are some of the solutions being proposed.
The problem here is the people have been tilling this land for the last 100 years with only this small horse. At least when you see a tractor, it will appear as if you have seen an angel passing around your village.
We need tractors to ensure that we open gardens for the people to go and plant. The other thing is also we need at least a smaller scale irrigation, because now we don't rely on this rainfall. It comes and goes. That's why we say a prolonged drought brought a challenge in terms of food insecurity.
The limited resource allocation to Karamoja region is another aspect which local leaders view as an obstacle in handling climate changes related challenges.
The funding is limited, so you cannot cover up the whole district. So you can maybe sample this quarter, you sample to reach that village, then another quarter, another village. So in the whole financial year, you cannot reach all the villages. because the funds is limited. We received 32 million in the whole financial year for all those for environment and natural resource management activities, including climate change.
However, for some communities, especially those around the Greenbelt zone, there is hope for crop production, but what is needed is better extension services.
There are parts that we call green belts, where you can afford to grow any crop that any Ugandan is growing, like cassava, like maize, like beans, like soybean, and so on, and sorghum, sunflower, and sunflower is on hot cake now. If you grow sunflower more than 10 acres, you get so many bags, and you can even get your cooking oil out of sunflower. And many people, many factories now are flowing to Karamoja to collect sunflower.
The bottom line is a call for massive campaign to save nature through better environmental conservation methods.
It is need to also plant trees along growing crops. We need to encourage the communities to plant trees so that the climate maybe can be moderated using those trees.
Karamoja region in northeastern comprises of districts Kabong, Abim, Kotido, Moroto, Napak, Nakapiripirit and Amudat has a long history of conflict and underdevelopment that has contributed to high levels of poverty.